Sirius XL Primetime. Featuring Joe C.
I reduced my toilet paper down to 3 squares.
Matt Hayes.
Big asses and big thighs, yeah.
And Leon Searcy.
Bringing you love, peace, and soul.
2 o'clock hour is here, a Thursday. You got playoff football coming up Saturday and Sunday, the divisional round. It is sweet. Now, it's minus your Jacksonville Jaguars, but the cream of the crop, they have made it down to the final 8 as we get rolling. So we got plenty of football that we're going to preview and look at, but the coaching search is first and foremost on many of you Jaguar fans' minds, so we will definitely talk about that as we get things cranking today. The national championship comes up on Monday, and as we have been trying to tell everybody out there, it may not have a flavor of the South, but it definitely has big stakes ball on both sides with what Notre Dame can do, winning a natty, and, of course, Ohio State, the Buckeyes, favored to win another natty. And we need to look at the totals in the 21st century as far as what Ohio State will do if they get the job done, because that will be the third in the 2000s. So we got plenty to get into. Big Search out the rest of the week. He will be back next week. Coach Campbell will be in tomorrow. Matty, we got plenty to get into as we talk about the Jaguars coaching search, and then obviously what's going on with the National Football League. The storyline coming out over the last 24 hours, not much has changed when it comes to the coaching search, but Jeff Darlington had a very interesting piece that he put on ESPN yesterday and made a case for Jacksonville being a very attractive job for one of the more attractive hires in the National Football League coaching carousel right now, a la Ben Johnson. And if he were to be in position to handpick the place that he wants to go, at least in the mind of Jeff Darlington, this is as desirable a place as any is out there in the National Football League.
I don't see how it couldn't be.
Right.
I mean, it's an owner who, you've said this over and over, is one of the top 3 spending owners in free agency in his time in the NFL. Okay, you've got a state with no income tax. You've got a franchise-type quarterback, whether you guys out there believe it or not. He is a franchise quarterback, and he does have the ability and the talent to be an elite quarterback in the league, right? You've got a core of young guys that potentially could develop into something much bigger with the right coaching and the right additional pieces around them. I mean, you can win here, but it's got to be the right guy. It's just got to be the right guy. It's got to be the right guy who's not going to come in here and try college stuff like Urban Meyer did. And I was the guy who thought Urban Meyer would come in and just do lights out stuff. I thought he'd be great. And
I'll raise my hand on that one.
It was terrible. You can't be a guy who gives him ice cream every day. And I know he didn't. And I know Doug Peterson didn't give him ice cream every day, okay? But you cannot be a hands-off, laissez-faire type coach, man. Right. You've got to get into it with him.
Yeah, he became more soft serve. You've got
to walk that balance of, yes, I can be a player's coach, but you better believe that I can be the guy that's going to lay down the law too. Mm-hmm. And I think the guys that can do that are the most successful guys. A great example is Sean Payton. He is one of those guys. Everybody says he's a player's coach. He's also got a lot of Parcells in him, man. A lot.
And learn from one of the right guys just in terms of but instituting control and then basically making sure that you have a firm hold on everything that happens within the walls of that franchise, within the walls of that building, and basically putting together a day-to-day, minute-to-minute game plan, which may sound a little over the top, but that's what a lot of successful coaches do. And so you can talk about the ones that you want and you don't know for sure whether they're going to be the perfect guy, but Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn definitely look like 2 guys on both sides of the ball that bring passion and success to wherever they're going to go. Matter of fact, we've got a couple of sound bites that will play to those 2 guys coming up here in just a bit. But how good will Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions be if they are stripped away of their 2 coordinators?
It's going to hurt.
Yeah, and both of these guys, if you're playing the percentages, both of these guys are going to get a gig. Wouldn't you say?
You would think. Yeah. Right. And that's look. I think at any level, when a staff is disassembled for whatever reason, it affects. Mm-hmm. It has an effect. It's you can see it in the NFL. You can see it in college. I mean, when Dabo lost Brent Venables, when he lost his co-coordinators in Jeff Scott and Tony Elliott, it changed. Whether you admit it or not, it changed. That dynamic there changed. He's starting to get it back with Garrett Riley now in offense. He now got rid of Godwin, his DC, and he hired Tom Allen from Penn State, the former Indiana head coach. He's a very good coach. So you've got to find the right mix of people. And it's not just, look, we talk about the head coach all the time. It's the right mix of the entire staff. It's not just the head coach. The head coach is just the guy that sets the tone.
Yeah, well, I'll give you another example because Philadelphia, when they went out and ultimately said goodbye to Doug and they went out and they made their decision, and that was that coaching carousel where there was a lot of, I guess maybe either Andy Reid flavor or disciples of him. Anyway, Nick Sirianni goes from Indianapolis and takes that Philadelphia Eagles job when Doug is fired up in Philadelphia. And he goes and he gets a Shane Steichen and Jonathan Gannon on the defensive side of the ball. Anyway, they both were successful. Philadelphia gets to the Super Bowl. Then Philadelphia makes it to the postseason, but kind of unraveled a little bit the next year. But those guys got jobs off of that, off of what they did in Philadelphia. That's how Shane Steichen got the gig in Indianapolis, and that's how Gannon got to Arizona. Well, what did he do? He went out and replaced the offensive coordinator, Shane Steichen, that had a very good relationship with Jalen Hurts. And it didn't work out necessarily with Brian Johnson because that was the first guy brought in.
Right.
And then Kellen Moore comes in this year, and course correction. They're right back to where they'd like to be. They got the run game going. Of course, getting Saquon Barkley was a huge, huge, huge piece of that. Just take a look at all the draft picks and free agents that Howie Roseman's been able to bring to that roster. And so Kellen Moore, and then on the other side, just a guy named Vic Fangio. Just a guy that can absolutely come in wherever he walks in, for the most part, is going to be hugely successful. Left Miami, maybe not accomplishing as much as he wanted to, but he goes up to Philadelphia and immediately puts a product on the field that other offensive coordinators probably have nightmares with. And so if you get those right guys, it's kind of like we posed the question, if this team were to hire a defensive-minded coach, be it a Robert Saleh, an Aaron Glenn, a Patrick Graham, you can name the guys that are on that side of the ball that are in the interview carousel right now, they better bring an offensive coordinator, a play caller, that can scheme it up and design the heck out of it. If you bring to me organization, passion, and create the culture, and you come from that side of the ball, I'm cool with that because you can be successful if you get the right guy.
I mean, think about the staff they have right now, which, by the way, is still employed. Okay? The staff the Jags have still employed.
Oh, yeah.
Technically employed.
That means right now, ladies and gentlemen, Press Taylor is still punching the clock.
If you look on the Jaguars website, you go to jaguars.com and you click on coaches, the first face you see, a big old face, is Press Taylor. First face.
Yeah.
I will say this. Again, when I've been saying this over and over and over, it's got to be about Trevor, whatever you do. So of that staff, do you keep Mike McCoy? Because it's from all we've heard, he and Trevor have a good relationship. Is he part of the reason why Trevor has regressed? Or do you simply circle everything around that they can't protect?
Okay? It might be.
I guess the decision we have to make there is if you blame everything, and you being the collective you, if you blame everything on the fact that they can't protect and they've had poor offensive line play, then that goes directly to the GM who put it together, okay? If you don't, if you come out and say, okay, we're good at offensive line, we can do X, Y, and Z, then you're blaming the guy that's been coaching them all along.
Yeah, which is where they arrived at. They ended up saying, and Shad was convinced of this, and we've definitely we've attacked it from so many different angles, but he was told this was the best roster this franchise has ever had, and it was just one of the more nonsensical things that anyone could hear. Even more nonsensical was that he ran with it. I want everyone to think about that. It was just crazy enough to tell him that nonsense, and then crazier for him to run with it and believe that this was the best roster this team had ever had. Anyway, it did submarine the coach in a lot of ways or sabotaged the coach in a lot of ways, because it basically said, this is the best bunch. If you can't coach them up, you're the problem.
Right.
And then, unfortunately for Doug, he was the problem. He became the central figure in not getting it done. and not showing a
wishy-washy way of coaching.
Right, not showing a passionate
directing and
passionate product that ran out on the football field breathing fire and ready to win. And that was alone a bad indicator. And then a bunch of one-score games, they couldn't win any of them.
It's going to be very interesting to see the moves they make, not only in free agency, but in the draft. Because if they all of a sudden go after the offensive line, reshaping the offensive line in free agency and the draft, well, if that's not Balky admitting he made a mistake, a big mistake, what is? Right?
Yeah.
If they don't, and they again double down, because they signed Ezra Cleveland last year to a $30 million deal, and I mean, who knows what's going on with Sheriff? I would imagine this was his last year. I don't think he's coming back.
No,
Brandon
Sheriff
is shocked if he comes back.
Yeah, he had adjusted.
So at the very least, you've got to get a guard, whether it's in the draft or whether it's in free agency. You've got to get a starting guard because you don't have anything on that roster right now. You do not have anything that resembles a 17-game starting guard that can compete with big giant men on the NFL level. You don't. You just don't.
Well, I'll go even further than that. You conceivably,
frankly, you need a center too.
Right.
Honestly.
I was going to say, you conceivably could have all three spots that are void and vacated.
Yes.
Okay? Even though Ezra got that pay, it doesn't mean necessarily he's going to win that job or keep that job or whatever. But, yeah, he's been paid enough to where they expect that. But Mitch was okay. I thought he was decent in pass pro. You hear me arguing that all the time, but none of them were very good at knocking people off the ball and running the football. And there's also a reason why he's here and someone else is up in Buffalo, and they're running their fannies off in Bills uniforms right now, making Josh Allen that much more dangerous because the run game has to be respected.
Correct.
And so you conceivably could have three new faces. I'm not trying to run Mitch out of town or anything like that, but it is definitely conceivable.
It's a results-based business.
Yeah.
You may like these guys. These guys may be good guys, and I'm sure they all are.
Yeah.
And they all have families, and they all have, it's brutal. It's a tough business.
Right.
And you get old quick in this business. So, yeah, I don't – look, and you get paid a lot of money in this business. So why it's difficult to say goodbye to people, or it's difficult to say, look, it's not working out, if it's not working out, you cannot keep banging your head against the wall. Now, there's also this theory out there that Doug Peterson wanted athletic offensive linemen, that he wanted guys that could move and get to the perimeter quickly and block on those stretch plays and block on the jet sweeps. Listen. It's the NFL, man.
Yeah.
You need big dudes that can blow guys off the ball, period.
And we should say everything was centralized around the passing game. Okay, that's what it was built for.
Yeah, but I don't buy that, because there are teams in the league that have big guys that blow guys off the ball that can throw the ball.
Yes. And just use Detroit.
It was a philosophical decision by them to have this quote-unquote athletic offensive line, and it blew up in their face. Yeah. And it has blown up in their face for the last 2 years.
So you can use it as, I want to be this first and that second. You can easily say that's how I'm going to put my team together, but the best, Lamar Jackson has a terrific line in front of him, and Derrick Henry has a great line to run behind. And the same thing can be said for the other teams that are still alive in the postseason. But they are all doing more than one thing well. They run the ball well, and they throw the ball well. So you got to have both. And when you take a look at the rushing stats for the Jags, it is 26th in the National Football League. Okay, just a tick over 100 yards rushing per game. And
that's horrific.
Yes, and if you take a look at it, and I'll just rattle off some of these numbers right now, which drives you just a little batty, is that you can take a look at the Travis Etienne numbers. 10-10 Ozzy bringing in some birthday cake. I love it, bro. All right, nice chocolate cake. YouTube audience probably wants a little bit of that right now. It's got all right, a little icing. I wish we had icing on this Jaguar cake right now, okay? Because listen to this. These
Icing, it's like you got flour, basically, is what you have.
Yeah.
Because that's what every cake starts with, and that's what every NFL team starts with. All right, you've got players. Let's see what you can do with them. There's nothing. There's no eggs.
They didn't put any eggs.
There's no butter.
They didn't sweeten anything.
No, there's no sugar. There's no pinch of salt. There's nothing, man. Nothing.
So here are the numbers, okay? In the beginning, and this is ETN and Bigsby, back and forth. I'm just going to toggle back and forth here. Rushing yards as this season went along. And this is the thing that easily can drive you a little crazy, because all you have to do is take a look at the top rushing teams that are in the National Football League and know that they either have a battery of good backs or they got a bruiser that's basically toting the whole load. James Cook is the main guy up in Buffalo, but that doesn't mean that they don't have Ty Johnson and Ray Davis, who got hurt this week, that they don't have those guys that can come in and get the job done. But I'm just going to rattle these off. Dolphins game. Travis Etienne had 44 yards, 3.7 yards per tote. Tank had busted off a couple of big runs, had 73, 6.1 yards per game. You're thinking, okay, more of that. The next game, which was him getting smoked because he missed one game and then getting smoked by the Bills, he had 2 carries for 9 yards. Okay? Then you go back to Etienne. Etienne, 13 carries for 52 yards against the Cleveland Browns. 11 carries for 68 yards, 6.2, not bad. But then he went right back to 50 yards, 17 yards. Against the Bears, it was -3. Are you ever going to be successful offensively with those types of numbers?
So
you're not.
When you know what's amazing? It's amazing that after that Bills game, that wasn't like a giant red flag for everyone. Like, okay, this is not the team that you're sold.
Yeah.
You've been sold. That game was an abomination, honestly.
So Etienne in that game, -1. Tank in that game, 24 yards.
So earlier when
That's
I
it.
said
That's all you need to hear.
When I said they've got nothing, that was clearly hyperbole.
Yeah.
There's very little right now. Like you've got core pieces on the defense, 3 or 4 guys, core pieces that you think, all right, these guys are players.
Mm-hmm.
And by players, I mean they're not just guys, they're players.
Right.
You've got 4 or 5 guys on offense, same thing. If you had on this team guys that had the want and the will of like Trayvon Walker and Evan Ingram, if everybody had that, my God, you'd have a team.
Yeah, I watched one of the top 5.
But Joe, you can, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but you can tell with some of those guys out there that they're just running around, man. They're literally just running around.
And it does come from the top, the passion, the drive, the insistence.
The want, man.
Yes, the insistence on it's got to be this way. All right, we'll keep it going. I feel like this cake might be the anniversary of another Jaguar hire in January, but I'm going to eat it no matter what. But let's stay on the Jaguar coaching search. Hear what Jeff Darlington had to say. It is a Thursday. It's the beginning of our weekend. I forgot to do this. Little Corona call as we get fired up heading into the weekend. You guys let us know what you're looking for, what you absolutely have to have when it comes to this head coaching search. 641-1010. Hit the text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures.
1010XL is your home for Jacksonville University basketball.
Surfing the wave of a 3-game win streak, the Dolphins reel in the Lions at historic Swisher Gym, JU, North Alabama. Tonight at 7 on 1010 AM.
Are you embarrassed by your ugly, cracked concrete driveway? Stop by Stone Core on Phillips Highway for all your outdoor living needs. Let them show you how a durable paver driveway can enhance your home. Visit stonecore.co. We do outdoors better.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. The playoffs are here, and that's the perfect time to play and win with PrizePicks. PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with more than 10 million active members. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch your dough roll in. Think Riley Leonard will rush for more than 1 touchdown in the national championship game? It's just that simple. And now you can win up to 100 times your money with as little as 4 correct picks. PrizePicks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. That's right. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit and cash out as quickly as 15 minutes. Now, here's the best part. PrizePicks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy. That means your lineups stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. Download the PrizePicks app today and use promo code JAX, J-A-X, and get $50 instantly when you play 5. It's all there at PrizePicks. Run your game.
Do you have clicking, popping, swelling, or pain in your knee or shoulder? This can be due to arthritic changes in your joints. Over time, you have wear and tear of your cartilage. I am Dr. George Bari, and here at Bari Orthopedics, we have numerous ways to treat your arthritis, such as regenerative medicine, including PRP and joint replacements with CT guidance for accuracy down to the millimeter. If you are experiencing any of these symptoms, call us for an appointment today or log on to BariOrthopedics.com.
Find out more at BariOrthopedics.com. That's BAHRI Orthopedics.com.
Barley and Pie Brewing Company in Fleming Island is excited to announce an all-new happy hour, 7 days a week. You heard right. Every day from 3 until 6 p.m. and again from 9 until close. Barley and Pie has deals you can't resist. 2-for-1 clay lights, 2-for-1 house wines, and much more. Experience the all-new happy hour at Barley and Pie Brewing Company in Fleming Island.
Mia here. Since 1982, Closets by Design has specialized in creating dream spaces for every budget. My designer, Frances, made the process so easy. She came to my house and designed a walk-in closet that's not only beautiful, but incredibly functional for me and Beau Valentine. Call today to schedule your free in-home consultation at 800-293-3744 or visit closetsbydesign.com and take advantage of their 40% off New Year savings this month only, including 18-month special financing. Closets by Design.
Find out why soccer is the most popular game in the world and spreading fast on the First Coast.
On the Sporty Jack Soccer Hour.
Join Culpepper, Mauricio Ruiz, and Becky Burley as they discuss the latest in the world of soccer.
Tuesday nights at 6
on 1010 a.m.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. Are you tired of wrestling with your old shower curtain? Then say goodbye to the curtain chaos and hello to a new frameless shower enclosure. Wago Glass is clear, classy, and won't stick to you like a toddler at bedtime. Plus, it makes your bathroom look bigger and brighter. Upgrade your shower experience and step into style. Call me at Baker Glass and get ready to love your new glass shower enclosure. Baker Glass, no one treats you better.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text PEC to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text PEC to 321-321. That's PEC to 321-321.
Ready, aim, inspire at the 7th Annual Mackenzie Noel Wilson Foundation Clay Shoot, Thursday, February 20th at Jack's Clay Target Sports. Hi, I'm Paul Martinez, president of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida. We've got you covered. Ammo, carts, clays, delicious food, and amazing prizes. Whether you're a sharpshooter or just in it for fun, this event is for you. Support the important work of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida and Mackenzie's Camp Deep Pond. Sign up at bgcnf.org/events.
If you're tired of weekend projects turning into weekend disasters, you're not alone. Building a fence isn't as easy as it looks. And let's face it, your neighbor still hasn't fixed his lopsided masterpiece. But Superior Fence and Rail makes it easy. Highly trained professionals, top quality materials, and a fence you'll love for years to come. Skip the stress and call the pros today.
When you're on the fence, about the fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Tailgate special alert. 3 pounds of marinated chicken, 2 pounds of marinated steak tips, 2 pounds of fresh ground beef, and 2 pounds of homemade sausage for only $80 to feed your crew.
For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. This is XL Primetime, brought to you by Florida Home AC. Now that's cool on 1010XL.
Another cold day. The AC part of Florida home, they're having to settle down over there. They're looking at heat pumps right now, making sure that all your heating is working, but definitely check them out because they can definitely take care of your Florida home. AC.com. All right, so it's certainly an obvious thing that we're talking about here when it comes to fixing this offense, and for that matter, when it comes to fixing this defense, because there's just so many big gaping holes in what they have been doing. And really, you have to say it, such bad leadership and bad game plan and just bad performances. It's just a long list of bad, which stinks for everybody out there that wants to see this thing back to where it should be. You went from, like we just said a couple days ago, the euphoria of January 14th, 2023, when you had a playoff setting and atmosphere that is really tough to
Second to none.
Yeah. After you come back from 27 down. And then yesterday, you celebrate the 25-year anniversary of 62-7. And here you are still looking around going, who are we? What are we? When are we going to be back? And that's kind of the feeling that we got right now.
That whole season, like, the Ravens game was wild. The Cowboys game was wild.
The
Titans game was wild.
Double-digit comeback.
Yes.
Double-digit point comeback.
The place was packed. The fans were crazy.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that gets people more than anything right now is it's not just this season. Like, if it was this season, you could play with it in your head and say, all right, it's just 1 year. We'll be back at it.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that it bled over from the previous season. And that now people starting to think, all right, this is basically who this is.
Yeah.
This is who we are.
And that's what you really have to fight off, because that's the scary part, is that you become who you never, ever thought you would be. All right, so here's our
But you are, I mean, you can't avoid it. You are.
Yeah.
You look at the way they play.
Yeah.
You look at the way they can't dominate teams on the line of scrimmage, both offense and defense. That's who they are. They are a finesse team that will only win if the other team is playing poorly.
And trust me, there are teams out there that had to shed a label that they had. And Detroit is the classic example. Detroit had done nothing forever and then finally turned a corner.
Got a tough coach, became a tough team.
Yeah, and they had one little run. You go back to, I think their last playoff win was in the early 90s, and then they finally got the guy. And they're one of the teams that's trying to make it to the Super Bowl that they can take their name off the list that Jacksonville still currently sits on. All right, so here's one off the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Legacy season ticket holder. Must have a head coach that is offensive-minded, calls his own plays. Also must bring in an experienced defensive coordinator who runs a scheme that will fit the player personnel we have. I want the Arizona wide receiver at number 5 to complement Brian Thomas Jr. or a top defensive back. I love it that he's getting into a handful of different things that he'd like to see happen, and he's covering both sides of the ball.
Ted McMillan would be good. You could probably get him later than 5, but if you got those two out there,
yeah.
But that means you're not focusing on offensive line. So
yeah, and so here's the crazy thing. This is the part that really should tick you off more than anything else, is that you have. It's great to have options when you're good, and then you get to just like sprinkle in stuff. Right. You know, like you go through the line after you got your ice cream, and you're like, do I want those Reese's on top of there, or would I rather have the Butterfinger?
Do you have the complete cake, and now you're saying, all right, let's throw some Reese's Pieces on top of it? No, they have flour right now.
Yeah.
Flour.
Yeah, and so they've got to get to a point where it is. They can go and they can use the first 3 rounds, because I think you should be looking at you reasonably should be looking at the first 3 rounds to deliver key contributors, not necessarily all starters, but dang sure key contributors. Your first round guy's got to start basically immediately. Your second and third round guy has to be a contributor. So here's another.
How many times have we said that, by the way?
Oh my gosh!
How many times have we said, look, third round guys got to start.
Yeah,
and it never happens.
No, it actually did. They just weren't very good. Okay, because Luke Fortner started the first 2 years of his professional life. Okay, that I believe that cat started 34 games. Okay,
right, so it never happened well. How about that?
You're right.
Is that the best way to say it?
But we went through a bunch of these guys where they just, like Brandon Linder was a third rounder. He started immediately and moved in and held that job for a long time. So it can happen. You can go to A.J. Cann, another third rounder, that when he walked in, he started.
Like Jarian Jones?
Yeah.
Has to start day one.
Well, yeah, he needs to take that next step and be better.
I'm not really saying Jarian Jones the player. I'm saying Jarian Jones the pick has to start day one. If you have problems at corner, which they clearly did, and if you're picking a guy that high, which they did,
right? Well,
that means you don't believe in the guys you have, and you need someone to play right away.
Well, I think if you're picking a third rounder, you're not saying that we don't have anything in that he has to be walk-in start that day. I definitely think he needs to.
That's a high pick, bro.
Well, I know
That's
it
a
is.
top 100 pick.
I know it is, but here's the other thing you're forgetting. They signed Ronald Darby for a big chunk of change to come in and be that answer man opposite Tyson Campbell. Come on now,
I refuse to believe they thought that he was going to be a 17-game guy, that he was the answer. I refuse to believe that.
It was just one of the 10-year vets that Trent Baalke signed to big contracts. Darby didn't get as much as Eric Armstead did, that's for sure. All right, another texture. Joe C. Lions in year one under Campbell went 3-13-1, worse than Meyer. Jags, they fired Anthony Lynn, elevated Johnson, and have gone, and this is going back to what they did up in Buffalo, elevated Johnson, and they've gone 9-8, 12-5, and 15-2. It's scheme and play calling. We need to elevate Howard Johnson in Jacksonville. I love you, man.
Hang on, real quick before we get into this. I love my dude, the 413 on the text line. No position players, all offensive line, defensive line.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
You're talking dirty to me, my man. You absolutely are.
There's nothing wrong with wanting that.
You're talking dirty to me, and I kind of like it.
Thank you, Hack.
Yeah, it's only good when he says it, I believe. We all have said it at one time or another, but nothing quite like that. Aaron Glenn, HC, from one of our texters. Brunell, quarterback coach or offensive coordinator. Honestly, Brunell should be given a lot of credit for what is happening with Jared Goff up there, to your point about Mike McCoy earlier.
Yeah.
And I do think Brunell has been not just a calming influence, because he is a cool customer under fire. He proved that wearing this Jaguar helmet and uniform, but he's made Jared Goff better. And so Mike McCoy, for a period of time, the story was told is that he was one of the first voices that Trevor would hear when he walked off the field.
Right.
And so he was impactful. And there was a time when you had all these offensive wonderkins that were around him that you thought were going to make him better. And it just did not translate that way. So the Aaron Glenn attitude type of guy definitely has there's a lot of appeal there, but you have to bring in that guy. And I don't know whether it's Mark Brunell or not. I'm a little fearful of having a first-year offensive coordinator. I'll flat out admit that.
Who's never been an offensive coordinator.
Right, that's what I'm saying. A first-year one. I would be a little worried about that.
Right.
But it doesn't mean Brunell can't be something like that. We'd have to find out.
So I think I've kind of moved a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've moved from I want an offensive guy because you need an offensive guy because it's all about Trevor. The more I think about this, the more I think you need an attitude guy, because Trevor is talented. Trevor is going to play well if you protect him.
Mm-hmm.
I think you need an attitude guy. I think you need a guy that's going to go up to that offensive line and look at every one of them and say, what you did the last 2 years is unacceptable.
Yeah.
Period. And these guys we just drafted and this guy we just picked out from free agency, they're coming in to take your job.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? How badly do you want to play?
Mm-hmm.
They need like an attitude guy, man. And I if they could, you'd be shocked at how much better quarterbacks are when they get protection. And I mean all quarterbacks. You can just be an average dude out there, and all of a sudden you look fantastic. Hello, Sam Darnold. Because you get protection. Because you've got a legit one receiver. And guess what? They've got a legit one, but they don't have the protection.
And once they figured out how to dial up defenses against him, it changed, obviously, in the last couple of games. All right, fire up this soundbite, JJ, real quick, and then we'll hit the break and then come back and talk about what Jeff Darlington is saying. Because most people feel or fear that if Trent Baalke is still in the building, Ben doesn't make it into the building. Darlington, who is I give him a lot of credit. Dude is a very good reporter when it comes to the National Football League. Just listen to what he has to say.
Now, the Jaguars, I want you to listen carefully here, because I keep hearing from coaching candidates that this is actually the most coveted job available right now, and I think it's going under the radar. And I keep hearing that Ben Johnson actually has his eyes squarely on that Jaguars position. I'm not saying that that's his top choice, but I am saying that that is a job that really interests him. Now, the Trent Baalke situation with him currently holding the position of general manager does throw a bit of a wrench into this, but I'm telling you, I have spoken to several different candidates who say that Jaguar job is the one that a lot of coaches are eyeing.
That's a big old wrench. I'll just tell you that right now. All right, so that we can react to. I think it's still a positive when you hear what he has to say, but we'll stay on that one and then also head down to Daytona because they got big things going on with the Rolex 24, with the Daytona 500. Speed Week's right around the corner.
Once upon a time, there was no sports radio.
You like an answer to our prayers. No, wait a minute. I'm not answering to your prayers. I'm not a savior or Martin Luther King or the Easter Bunny.
1010XL.
That's all.
Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Do the Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle. Garber Auto Mall is home of the lifetime warranty. Every new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Chevy, Buick, GMC, and Ford comes with a lifetime warranty. At Garber Auto Mall, your purchase is covered for life. Visit us in Green Cove Springs or at GarberAutomall.com. And remember, at Garber Auto Mall, there's always a little room for wiggle. Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Seminole Hard Rock Tampa is excited to bring you live craps, roulette, and sports betting. All under one roof, hotter than the Florida sun. Feel the luck of the dice, watch the roulette wheel spin, and scream for your touchdown as the big screen comes alive. Dine like a rock star, sip cocktails that shimmer, then dive into the heart of Las Vegas right here in Tampa Bay. Live craps, roulette, sports betting is here. Get in on the action now, only at Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino Tampa, located off of I-4 near I-75. Gambling problem? Call 1-888-10-MINUTE.
Discover the difference that local expertise makes at First Coast Lighting and Fans. Visit their showroom at the Avenues and browse high-quality products to match your desire for elegance, quality, and uniqueness at First Coast Lighting and Fans.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On January 16, 1960, Detroit Red Wing Gordie Howe scores a goal and an assist in his 888 career game, becoming the NHL's all-time leading scorer with 947 points.
Are you 18 years or older, just got married, just got divorced, or have children? Listen up. Have you done your last will and estate planning? If you have questions, call Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Reach him at 527-1700. Office is Jacksonville, Florida. And don't let the state decide your fate.
Hey, gang, Prosser here. Are you struggling to sell your home? How long has it been sitting on the market? Are you tired of being tired of trying to sell your home? Go to The Guarantee. ChadandSandy.com. I've been telling you about Chad and Sandy literally for years now. And here's the Chad and Sandy guarantee. You want a guarantee? Your home sold, guaranteed, or they will buy it. That's right. The agreed upon asking price, the agreed upon deadline, sold by that, or they buy it. How much more of a promise do you need? The only local real estate experts I trust and recommend with the sale of your home. No required costly repairs. Pick your move date. No long-term contracts. You can cancel at any time. And again, guarantee your home sold at an agreed upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Pete Lakeshore said, I was in a pickle. I needed cash out on a rental property fast, and I was struggling to rent. I heard Chad and Sandy on the radio and called. I had an offer for full asking price within days. These guys made it easy and delivered big-time results. It's what they do. Call Chad and Sandy today, 414-6200, or chadandsandy.com.
Clean air, cool air, both are extremely important. Trust Florida Home AC to deliver on both with their Remy Halo, the next generation of air quality technology. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC and breathe clean and cool air.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Looking for a great place to enjoy some craft creations and soak up some scenery? Bernardina's Mocama Beer Company is a must-see and must-try. Nassau County knows it. Visitors need to find out about it. Mocama means near the big water where the sun is born. And if you visit their tap room in Bernardina Beach, you'll see how they've mastered equal parts precision and art in creating great flavors from IPAs to Pilsners, lagers, and sours, plus plenty more. Mocama.com, Mocama Beer Company. Start an adventure and find them in Fernandina.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. This is XL Primetime, brought to you by Florida Home AC. Now that's cool on 1010XL.
2:40, 20 minutes in front of the 3 o'clock hour. Beautiful Thursday. Sunshine. Come on out. Throw some heat on us. Cooler weather. We're loving it. We got cold weather that's going to hang around for a little bit longer. We're hanging around until 4 o'clock this afternoon. Joe C., Matt Hayes. Definitely check out his stuff at USA Today Sports, especially big pieces that the one went viral with the Carson Beck story about Georgia asking Carson to come back, and he said no. Alabama said, come on over. He said no. Went to the U down there in Miami. You can check all that out at Matt Hayes. Is it Matt Hayes CFB? Is that the easiest way to find it? Yeah.
Matt Hayes CFB.
That's the easiest way to find it.
Or just go to usatoday.com.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, easily. I'm laughing, though, when I'm reading this one text on the text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures, because we're talking about what you want, what you must have in your next Jaguar coach. And it sucks right now, the feeling that you guys have, because you don't know exactly what's next and whether or not you're going to be able to attract Ben Johnson, whomever you want as your number one candidate to come to Duval. I did laugh. Jaguars are like the LA Angels. We could have the NFL's version of Ohtani and Mike Trout, and we would still suck. We just are who we are at this point, and that's the worry that I got in
That's the
in
funk
my belly.
that Leon talks about.
Yeah, I got the worry in my belly for that. I don't want you guys to feel that way. I dig it. I understand it. But yeah, that's
not what it is, man. I mean, when was the last time this team had an offensive line where you're like, yeah, they are moving people off the ball?
Yeah, it's been a while. When you start looking at
maybe Leon and Bo, honestly, when was the last time they had a line where you're like, all right, they're dominating?
I'll easily say 2013 when Maurice Jones-Drew led the league in rushing, but it's just so few and far between. This team was 26th in rushing. They averaged just over 100 yards per game, like we were talking about. 101.7 is the number, and there's really not that much difference between the teams that fall outside of the top 15. Like, as an example, Denver Broncos, they didn't need to run the ball that much. They were still middle of the pack. They were 17th. They ran it for 110 yards. So it's not like there's a huge difference between a team that's middle of the pack and then the Jaguars that are 16th.
But there's also teams that can get third and shorts.
Yes.
That's the key. Yeah. And there's also those teams like the Broncos. You brought the Broncos. That's a perfect example. Mm-hmm. This team 2 years ago ran the ball because they threw it so well. So it was the changeup that people weren't looking for, which is the Broncos throw the ball so well, they got that little changeup. Now, you're talking about a philosophical decision. What do you want? Do you want to be a team that throws it more than you run it? Or do you want to actually line up and say, we're blowing you off the ball and we're getting yards?
Well, we've now reached a point, at least I believe we have, and I think most would agree with this, is there's a renaissance for the running back that is taking place right now.
Slowly, yeah.
And let's make this the 10-10 take, JJ, because honestly, that's what you want to see in this football team if you can get that toughness back in the ground game.
Now, Joe C's 10-10 take. Slow smoked and served up by Sonny's Barbecue. Local pitmaster since 68.
Great specials going on at Sonny's all over the First Coast, and you need to dial up one of those like GPS and take you right there. And you're talking about a nice little 2-meat combo, the big deal, and all-you-can-eat ribs, less than $20. So make sure you take advantage of that. But the Renaissance man right now in the NFL is the running back. And he now all of a sudden is being looked at as a maybe not 100% the centerpiece, but an integral part in anyone's success that's going deep in the regular season and in the postseason. And we know who the stars are. The Derrick Henrys, the Saquon Barkleys, Jahmyr Gibbs, all these guys have popped up and become big-time stars this year. Well, the Renaissance man, as far as the running back is concerned, is helping offenses counter what defenses are doing these days, because the defense, and we heard Bill Belichick say it, we heard Mel Kiper and a handful of others rant and rave about it, is that they have that cover two and they take away the big play. And heck, there was even discussion about outlawing the cover two, which is just crazy. So the 10-10 take is very simple. You get the run game going. You get it back in Duval. You get a Maurice Jones-Drew type of approach. to running the football. It ain't going to be your number one and only thing. But my gosh, man, will it help so much more if you can just start to churn out big yards on first down with a good ground game.
Well, yeah, and that comes you cannot have that ground game unless you can knock people off the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I've been saying now, you guys all laughed at me for the last year and a half. I've been saying guard in the draft, but that's the essence of what you want. Football is a line of scrimmage game on both sides of the ball. You want to be physical. You can talk all you want about having, athletic guys and being able to throw the ball and stretching the field, and it's a vertical pass game. You've got to be physical at the point of attack. It's a physical game. On the outside with receivers, guess what? At the end of the day, it's a physical game because they got to get off the jam. It's simple as that. At the end of the day, when you're running the ball, you've got to not only knock people off the ball, but your running back's got to break tackles. It's a physical game. You cannot be a finesse team. You've got to be a team that wants it. It's about want and will. And you need a coach like that. That's why I'm starting to I said this earlier. I'm starting to move toward that, JoJo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to move toward. I don't care if it's offense or defense guy. I just want a guy that says we're going to bite their kneecaps.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want.
Well, Aaron Glenn, he definitely represents a little bit of that with the way he coaches, the way he did play back in the day. Kirby Joseph, one of his guys, really had a lot of strong things to say about how Aaron Glenn not only coaches him as a football player, but coaches him as a human being. And that part of it, I do think is essential because, Mike Tomlin's getting clobbered right now up in Pittsburgh for not being able to get the job done, for ending the season on a 5-game winning streak and now being a loser in the postseason for, a half decade or the last 6 times, more than a half decade. And at the same time, he did preach toughness and organization and passion. And they had all of that for a long, long time. But now you got to figure out whatever that missing ingredient is, you got to go get that and couple it with what you have.
Well, it's quarterback, obviously.
Yeah, which is a quarterback.
It's quarterback.
And by the way, when he sat down one guy and went to Russell Wilson, he reinvigorated Russell Wilson in a way where he became a little bit of a renaissance man, but they just couldn't sustain it. And so there's no question the missing piece up there, and I'm not rooting for any more success for the Steelers, period, but they just did not have a ground game and that solid quarterback play that you're used to seeing. And defensively, they even started to fold up their tent a little bit down the stretch. Right. But you take a look at the rushing statistics for the teams that are successful, and I'm just kind of spinning through them, and 14 of the top rushing attacks in the National Football League this year, 12 of them are in the postseason. And it's not a surprise because they have balance, they can score, and then they can close out people by running the football. Now, the teams that are at the top, Baltimore, shocking. No shock there at all. Philadelphia, 2,000-yard rusher, heck yeah. Washington is third because of what Jaden Daniels brought to the table. Right. That he and B-Rob were able to both kind of double up and do to defenses what they wanted to do, and Jaden Daniels became a really tough guy to defend. Tampa, fourth on the rushing stats for 2024 because they had not only Rashard White, who was able to come out of the backfield and catch the ball, but also ran the ball well. Then Bucky Irvin took over his job. So they had 2. Bucky Irvin took over his job and became really sensational. Tank took over ETN's primary carry load for a good bit of the season.
Or at least took some of it, yeah.
Yeah, but just didn't quite do some of the stuff that you want him to do. Well, down there in Tampa Town, they got a good group of guys they're running behind. Bucky Irvin looks like Warwick Dunn reincarnated.
We never got into this, but when the Bucs came here for the practices, I remember when their offense and defensive lines came out first on the field, on the practice field over there at the Mecca, and I remember thinking, my God, that's a football team. That's a bunch of grown men. Vita Vea starts walking out, and you're like, all right, that's a man right there, right? Christian Wirth walks out, that's a man. Christian. You could tell physically, if you put both those groups against the Jaguars groups, physically, it's a different team. Physically.
What is hilarious?
We used to always, remember when Cam would stand there in practice and we'd go, look at Cam's calves.
Yeah. I never did that. Okay, you and Hacker might have been into the calf scene, but
but my point
I
is,
never did that.
But you've got to have like a big, strong base. You guys laughing at some big ass and big thighs. Yes, that's what you need.
I'm looking at the YouTube audience right now. Am I talking to Trent Baalke right now? Is that what Matt is morphing into?
No. Big thighs. Yes, thank you. That's kind of what I'm saying when I said, man, you got to
faster, stronger.
You got to be grown men. Okay, and they don't have grown men on the lines of scrimmage. They don't.
You guys that were at the Mecca, and I'm not arguing that point at all because they are not physical enough. But I came away from the joint practices those 2 days. And this is July Joe and Augie Optimist in August.
No, but this is you every year, man.
But I'm just saying, they looked better than Tampa in August.
No way.
And well, you never said it then.
Oh, Jags media was so like...
I did. Yes, I did.
They bullied the Bucs and all this crap. I had to hear it for days.
And bro,
it was sickening.
And honestly, JJ, it looked and appeared that way.
They bullied them. You didn't hear that? How many times I had to hear that they bullied the Bucs?
Okay, I don't know if I went that far. I don't know if
I heard it. Not on this show.
You know what? All you guys were watching.
I'm just saying 10-10 in general.
All you guys were watching the Jags offense when the Bucs really weren't playing their starting D line. I mean, Vita Vea maybe played like what, 8 plays in that scrimmage, maybe.
I don't.
If you went to the far field where the Bucs offense, dude.
It was just so funny. There were a couple of plays, and Tyson Campbell made one play against Mike Evans that everyone went nuts for. And I'm sure, like you said, I said to you guys earlier, if you were at one of those joint practices, just text us because remind us of what your feeling was. Because honestly, when I saw it, I'm like, oh, bro, they have got playmakers. This secondary is savvy, yada, yada, yada.
I remember Campbell looking at me going, they got some big dudes. And I said, yeah, big dudes win. And he started laughing.
We'll ask Coach this tomorrow, too, because I swear, and he has better eyes than any of us as far as what looks good and what doesn't, not just you watching them on the hoof as they walk out.
Big dudes win. Tough dudes win.
Okay, look, do you think anyone's going to argue with you on that?
I hope not.
Yeah.
Well, I think Trent Baalke might argue with that.
Well, he's the one who said bigger, faster, stronger, and they looked like they put on some weight. They just weren't better. Okay? There was that other part. Bigger, faster, stronger, better. How about better? Tyson Campbell just got $76 million in a contract and a ton of it guaranteed, and he has one pick in the last 2 seasons, and that one pick came before the contract. That one pick came before the pen when he got to sign that contract. That has to change. Into the 3 o'clock hour we go. Once again, we're fired up, frustrated. But I want to get back to the idea that there is intrigue and an appetite for this job by those that are out there in the coaching interview carousel right now. So we'll get back on that. Let's throw some national championship thoughts at you because we got Notre Dame and Ohio State coming up on Monday. We are not talking about the college football championship enough. We really aren't.
No.
But we'll bring it up because
we get stuck on this nonsense because we're trying to fix something that at this point it's teetering on unfixable.
It is not unfixable. Listen, all Duval, I'm rooting for you. We're going to fix this puppy.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
If I may, you two make an adorable couple.
Oh, no, we're not. No. We're not blah, blah, blah. I never lie.
Mornings on 1010XL. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
If you suffer from constant burning, tingling, or numbness in your hands or feet, it could be a serious condition called neuropathy. I'm Dr. Nathan Riddle, DC with Riddle Wellness in Ponte Vedra. Neuropathy is treatable, and we have seen great results by using state-of-the-art, non-invasive therapies to target damaged nerves, reduce symptoms, and improve nerve function. Call 904-395-5598 to schedule your free consultation today and learn how you can live pain-free. Call 904-395-5598.
Mia here for MyBookie. It's win or go home. The NFL playoffs are the ticket to the biggest game of the year, and all roads lead to New Orleans. The NCAA playoffs will set the stage, but this is your chance to get in on every high-stakes moment along the way. Your road to New Orleans starts now with MyBookie.
MyBookie is the ultimate destination for bettors who want more, whether you're betting the underdogs or riding with the favorites. Every drive, every touchdown, every moment is an opportunity to win big. Kick off your 2025 right with risk-free Thursdays. Place a bet, and if it doesn't hit, MyBookie has your back. Dive into the Bet Boost tab to supercharge your picks and build that bankroll before the big game. And when the games are over, the action does not stop, folks. MyBookie's online casino keeps the excitement going 24/7. Blackjack, roulette, slots, it's all there. Whether you're celebrating a big win or gearing up for the next round. Haven't joined yet? Now's the time. Use promo code 1010XL on your first deposit, and MyBookie will hook you up with an instant bonus because you deserve to start the year off right.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm dedicated to helping businesses manage risk, maximize opportunities, and move their company forward. Jimerson Burr attorneys are business-oriented lawyers, equally comfortable as community leaders, private transaction counselors, or courtroom advocates. If you have a legal issue of any kind affecting your business, contact the firm at 389-0050 or jimersonfirm.com.
Hey, Hicken here, or just call me Dreamfinders Danny. For a limited time to ring in the new year, Dreamfinders Homes is offering an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now's your chance to lock down that rate and get in the game. You heard me right. It's 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershomes.com for more details.
Bowl season brings the holiday feeling.
Deck the halls, deck the halls.
When you play 1010XL's Ultimate Bowl Challenge, you got the chance to win $1,000 in jewelry from Beard's Diamonds. Log on to 1010XL.com and start picking.
Denny Thompson here. If you haven't heard, Dan and Jeff are going to be live from the brand new showroom at Tyson Sound and Security this Friday. You have to check out Tyson's showroom home theater with surround sound and comfy theater chairs. You can transform your living room into a cinematic experience. Did I mention Friday morning you can enter to win a $2,500 prize giveaway? Bring the theater experience home. Tyson Sound and Security, now at 3555 U.S. Highway 17 in Fleming Island.
Jacksonville. When AEW returns home, it is the biggest party in all of professional wrestling.
Daily's Place, the home of AEW.
And on Saturday, January 25th, Collision returns live. It's a new year and a whole new era in AEW, and there's no better time to experience the excitement than right now. AEW Collision Homecoming, live from Daily's Place in Jacksonville, Florida. Tickets on sale now, starting at $20 at AEWTIX.com.
Instead of wasting money on resolutions you won't keep, why not invest in something that lasts? Like fixing that dripping faucet, clearing that clogged drain, or finally tuning up your AC. Call Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. We'll help you keep your home in shape this year. It's the one resolution you won't regret breaking. Call 904-862-6769 to schedule service today. Because when you're stuck, call the Duck. Right now, get $50 off any service of $150 or more.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Pacifico is brewed for those who let go of the things that don't matter and hold on to the ones that do. That's living life. Anchors up.
Pacifico, found in Baja, imported by surfers. Ask for a Pacifico when you're ready to live life anchors up.
Pacifico is a crisp golden lager, brewed for those who know. It's what's behind a label that matters.
Family owned and managed for 20 plus years, Hidden Hills Golf Club boasts a unique and welcoming atmosphere. Visit us at hiddenhillsgc.com to book your next round on our Arnold Palmer signature course. You'll be glad you did.
Hey, this is Bert Cannon with the First Coast YMCA. Youth sports at the Y can help nurture your future athlete's potential and experience the joy of being a kid. At the Y, we're providing a safe, clean, and fun environment with basketball, soccer, volleyball, gymnastics, elite skills training, and more. Best of all, participation in Legacy Youth Sports League is free with your family membership. Visit fcymca.org to learn all about youth sports at the Y.
Looking for a new or used firearm? Beaches Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach will get you locked and loaded. New firearms coming in weekly and always looking for used guns. No lines and no waiting. Online at beachesjewelryandpawn.com.
I'm Max Fink here with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update, brought to you by Chad and Sandy Real Estate. Last night, the Florida State Seminoles defeated Pitt in hoops 82-70 in Tallahassee. Senior guard Jameer Watkins had a huge night scoring for the Seminoles, dropping 26 points and going 50% from beyond the arc. Malik Ewins posted a double-double with 18 points and 13 boards. Head coach Leonard Williams spoke after the game about how he thought his team performed in a much-needed conference victory.
The effort that we played with tonight was a reflection of the respect we have for Pittsburgh, how well coached they are. And I thought we showed a little bit of evidence of progress more mentally and emotionally than physically. Obviously, we were very disappointed in our performance at Clemson, and I thought our guys responded in a lot of ways with their effort and focus, ability to communicate.
It's 61 degrees at 3 o'clock. Time and Temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. This is XL Primetime, brought to you by Florida Home AC. Now that's cool on 1010XL.
3 o'clock hours here at XL Primetime. Thanks for hanging out with us. Joe C., Matty Hayes, we are hanging out. Big Searcy out for a couple days. He will be back. Coach Campbell will be in with us tomorrow. JJ cranking it out. We've been talking really about the head coach as much as anything because that's top of mind for most of you all out there, all of Duval, of course. And with that, the head coaching discussion comes all the draft discussion, free agents, and what's wrong with this team and how can you fix it. And it just honestly is just an endless line. You get somewhere and you hope there's a short line and you get out of your car and you see that long line. That's what this is.
Remember when we were talking in 2022 after the season, after that glorious run?
Yeah.
That the window's going to be closing.
Yeah.
They've got to take advantage of it.
Got to get it
Remember
done.
that?
Yeah.
Remember that?
I just went to the Christmas story.
And they did nothing.
Do you remember Ralphie and
except for getting Calvin Ridley?
Oh, yeah.
When they're in the mall and he thinks that's the beginning of the line.
Beginning of the line?
Like, no, this is the beginning
is the line.
Back there. And that's how many things have to be
That's what
fixed.
shot. No, this is the beginning.
No, this is the beginning.
But you're right. They did go out and get Calvin Ridley, and that was they thought they were going to fix things with that. I'm reading one of the texts. I'm not sure Gabe Davis was ever 100% this year. He was another guy that they signed that they thought would be able to come in.
Let's review real quick. Gabe Davis, not 100% ever. Darby, not 100% ever. Savage, not 100% ever.
Yeah.
Armstead.
Yeah.
Armstead, apparently, allegedly, not playing where he wanted to play.
I just would say instead of him not 100% ever, he really wasn't 100% in.
Again, I told you guys this
Invested.
before, and eventually I'm going to find it on tape and tweet it out. There was one play in the last game of the season. He didn't touch anyone. Anyone. Like, didn't contact anyone. And he was playing edge.
All right, so let's get back to the idea that this might be one of the most attractive jobs out there. And when you're talking about Ben Johnson, and just think of any situation that any of you guys are in and you're looking for that next step. Where am I going to go? I want to get promoted inside this building, or I'm going to go somewhere else and I'm going to be looking at getting a new gig. And I'll use even Matty as USA Today Sports. You went from one thing to another thing. You weren't necessarily going to go lateral, right? You're looking to go up, right? So
very happy now.
Ben Johnson is looking around. He passed last year on the Washington Commanders.
Right.
You think he might have to rethink that just a little bit? Look at what Dan Quinn and look at the fact that Cliff Kingsbury's had a rebirth. I keep using that word in Renaissance. He's had a rebirth of his career coaching Jaden Daniels. And so things are looking great there. He could have gone there potentially, and they would have gotten Jaden, and who knows. But you have to give Dan Quinn credit because they are where they are because of him, and Kingsbury, and Jaden.
100% give Dan Quinn
But
credit.
now Ben Johnson's got to look around and go, where is the most likely place for me to be successful? So this is Adam Schefter.
Quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just successful and sustain. How about that? Okay? not only be successful early, but sustain it. So this is Schefter laying out the case of what if Ben Johnson were to say no to Duval and a couple of others and end up in Vegas coaching the Raiders just because Tom Brady is now part of the ownership group and says, hey, come be with me. And he uses that Brady hypnotism on him. Well, listen to what Adam Schefter had to say about this.
Well, you know why Tom Brady's involved right now? Because whenever the Raiders hire their next general manager and their next head coach, they at that time will be paying 3 different general managers. They will be paying 3 different head coaches. And that doesn't include the settlement that it had with John Gruden. So in a way, it's really paying 4 head coaches and 3 GMs whenever it makes its new hire. And whoever comes in there has an enormous challenge on his hands. And that's why Brady's there. Because if he weren't there, the job would not be as attractive. It's awfully compelling, I think, when you're thinking of joining a franchise to know that Tom Brady is in it with you. Ben Johnson needs to take one of these jobs, and he's going to take one of these jobs. But can you imagine bypassing Jaden Daniels last year and then taking the Raiders job over that? Because Tom Brady is the I get it. Tom is incredible. He's impressive. But the Raiders have so much ground to make up right now, especially in that division.
I think he honestly, he makes a very good point, because all these guys, and when they sit down and think about this and lay their head on their bed saying, where do I want to be next? They want the best chance of success. And a quarterback having one is a plus versus not having one, which could be a huge detriment. And Vegas not necessarily being in a position to have that pick in the draft to go get their guy and start their clock with new head coach and new quarterback.
I'm not sure. So the draw, let me try to understand. I'm trying to wrap my mind around this.
Uh-huh.
The draw to Vegas is a guy that owns 3% of the team.
Yeah, a minority owner that now wants to, that potentially.
But he'll be more football hands-on.
Yeah.
The guy that we desperately would want here in someone like that here in Jacksonville.
It's like we mentioned Tony Baselli.
Exactly.
And Baselli
without an ownership role.
Right. We always mention him. People, the Jaguar fans, bring him in as an advisory role, GM, player, whatever. And so, I
just don't understand why that's the draw. Not the fact that roster is not any good.
No, it's in bad. They have a decent amount of cap space. They have over $100 million in cap. They can definitely spend some money, but they also have some aging players. Max Crosby, who's been a great success. He was a 3rd rounder that came in and contributed right away, and many others, but they don't necessarily have everything that they need there. And so Ben Johnson should look at it and say, hey, I'm enamored with the idea.
Well, they also don't have a quarterback.
That's the way this whole conversation started.
Right.
Is that either you have one or you don't, and you're going into a division. What division is easier to win, the AFC South or the AFC West?
Yeah.
Okay. And so that's where this team is right now.
But I'm going to give you the umbrella over everything right now, okay? Trent Baalke. That's the umbrella over everything.
There is no GM in Vegas. There's also obviously an ownership group that really wants to win, is going to do everything they can with Tom Brady. I mean, watch that press conference with Baalke and Shad Khan.
Yeah, how much confidence?
You mean the hostage press conference?
Exactly. And then you just know who Tom Brady is. Mm-hmm. So it's I get that there's a quarterback here, but if you're looking at it from hey, I need a place that is on solid ground.
Yeah,
you can't look at Jacksonville and say that.
There's some serious cachet when it comes to the Tom Brady effect, Vegas, what it brings, period. But then you have to kind of counter that, or kind of put, okay, let me put the pros and con list together, is that before that presser, I kept saying, you would want to work for a guy like Shad because he's hands off, and the only time he's hands on is when he's stroking checks, and he is not afraid to write a check.
Let me email you some talking points, Shad. Okay.
Yeah, now you get to where, okay, wait a minute. How am I going to exist in this building? How much say will I have? How many times will I be undermined or submarine?
Right. Well, how will he undercut me?
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
because if you guys don't think that Ben Johnson's calling Doug Peterson and saying, what's the deal there? You're out of your mind. You're not reading the room. Of course he's calling Doug Peterson and asking what's going on there.
Well, I always maintain that it's a fraternity Players have huge fraternities where they talk all the time across team to team.
So do coaches.
And coaches, they do
Yeah, for all we know, Ben Johnson and Press Taylor are tight.
Yeah. Well, it's just there's no reason why you wouldn't pick up a phone and go, "Hey, what's it like?"
Right. You would do your due diligence before you make a critical decision like that. When you can have your choice of any job.
So
if you're just a guy out there hoping to get a job, I understand it. But if you're a guy like Ben Johnson, there's 6 jobs open. You can have any one you want. You're going to do due diligence with every single job.
Exactly. So what's more important to him? Winning right now, having a quarterback right now, or having some stability and being able to build something yourself and bring in your own GM and, work well with the owner, Brady, or whoever you want to call him.
Okay, but while we're on that, don't forget how we started this off. The Raiders are not on solid ground. They've been hiring and firing for a while.
I agree.
What's their pick? Third?
They're
behind the.
Yeah, they're when they beat Jacksonville, they dropped.
Oh, right, they dropped. Right,
yeah,
right,
they were right there with the Giants as far as
this team lose to the Raiders,
battling for that number 1 pick.
Man, gotta be kidding.
They're
me.
6.
Yeah, so
right behind the Jags.
Yeah, but just please don't forget that from Al Davis to Mark Davis, it's become more of a sloppy organization in terms of
hey,
I
organizationally.
Well, yeah, I like that guy that's on NFL Network. What's his name? Mike Mayock. I think
Bring him in.
My general manager. Hey, John Gruden. I love that guy. He's got the same kind of haircut as I do. Let's bring him in. And so then all of a sudden you got a hot mess, and you got to run Mayock out of there. Gruden gets run out of there. Then you got, who is it, Bisaccia, who was another interim that did okay, but they said goodbye and let him go. And then they went and got another guy, and that didn't work.
But
and
don't you think Brady changes that a little bit?
Well, yeah, to a degree, but this is the other part of this. What was the percentage that he's got, Matt?
3 to 5, something like that.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure, but
hang on.
Does a Davis get dominated by a minority figure? I don't know. He might. And then the other part of it is that, hey, Tommy, you're
5%.
still 5. You're still a Fox analyst.
Yeah, that's the weirdest part.
Which I think he might have even said, I want to buy into the Raiders just so
it's not even him.
I
It's
can get canned and get my money from Fox as well.
It's not even Brady. It's he and his cap management guy. His capital management guy went in together to get 5%.
Yeah, he wants to be that guy. So anyway, I do think that it's a hot mess out there. It's still a very visible head coaching position, more so than this one, if we're being honest. But it doesn't mean that whoever comes in and gets this job can't turn this around. Because this is, right now, this is anything I do is going to be better than what's been done type of job.
All right, hang on. I got an update. Mm-hmm. He owns 5%. His capital management guy owns 5%. They went in together and got 10 from Mark Davis.
Okay, so that's a point.
He also owns
10 points is pretty good.
He's also part ownership of the Las Vegas Aces in the WNBA, too.
Mm-hmm.
In case Ben Johnson wants some
diversifying the portfolio.
Courtside seats for those WNBA games.
If you own 10% of the team, that you can't get fired. You know, like Brady's there to stay.
Right, very true. He just may not get even 10% of the say. I guess he does have cachet. There's no question about that.
He and his guy at 10%. Yeah. He's got 5. His guy,
but he's 5. The cachet.
Yeah,
he comes in and it's like Derek Jeter going in there. How much did JJ?
He doesn't have 10 yet. JJ.
Yeah, with the Marlins.
Yeah, how much did he have? Because there was a while there where the Dolphins were doing
this. He got
this.
out quickly though.
Yeah, he just said this ain't for me.
This ain't for me. Yeah, I'm not.
He only had
like
4%.
Okay, 4. But to our discussion, he became the face.
Yeah, he's like what Brady is right now.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, he was, no doubt.
And I do love that. I believe it was the Dolphins and Stephen Ross. He's like, hey, Gloria, here's a %. Hey, Stallone, here's a %. He just started giving, hey, Rock, Pitbull, whoever, here's a %. Just so we can have people sitting in the stands in the luxury boxes. And I don't know how much they totaled in terms of ownership, but those people were Miami. They were the fabric of South Florida. So I don't know.
But there is something to be said for not having a GM there.
Yeah.
And a guy coming in and be able to hire his own or have a lot of say in the GM they bring in. Unfortunately, that's not happening here.
No, and Vegas is big, baby. Everything they do is grand. And so, yeah, you could get credit for bringing the Raiders back to where they were as a once proud franchise. We'll see.
New facility.
Mm-hmm.
It's the hip place now.
You're not going to have to play your games in Orlando.
Yeah.
Wish you hadn't said
I mean, you laugh about
once
that,
a year
but
in London,
you're not
that
going to play. You're not going to play your game in front of 40,000. One year is going to be when the stadium knocked down to 40,000 seats.
Well, they played in front of less than that this year.
Maybe 31. Yeah. By the way, that crowd in Arizona for two teams that were visitors, how impressive was that?
Dude, the Vikings fans came out.
Fantastic. Skull, they are nuts. That's for sure. All right, it's XL Primetime. We'll keep going on that. We promised some college football talk, so we'll do that coming up.
It's more than running down stats and catching scores.
We have a brotherhood in here that we worked all year with that we don't want to let down.
Go inside the locker room with Jacksonville Sports Radio, 1010XL.
Hey, John, looking for the perfect family ride?
How about taking your family on a luxury ride with the all-new 2024 Cadillac Escalade?
That sounds amazing. If you're a loyal customer, you get $4,000 off. Or if you're new to Randy Marion, you can get a $3,000 Conquest discount.
And don't forget the 5% savings on retired courtesy transportation vehicles.
You can save over $10,000 on select 2024 Escalade.
Experience the luxury and comfort at Randy Marion Cadillac.
Randy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville.
Plus tax tag title $899 admin fee and resist all on approved credit.
This is Mark Nato. My sons and I have seen the doctors and PAs at Southeast Ortho for everything from lumbar spine stress to elbow tendonitis. Southeast has always been there, been truthful, and always been on point. Everything they say happens. We can't thank them enough for what they've done and the great care that they have taken of our sons.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
It's a new year at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine. Cash in this month with thrilling promotions and tournaments, including daily high hands and table games clockwork cash out, giving away $300 cash every 15 minutes and selected weekends at all 3 Best Bet locations. Catch all the excitement in 2025. See all the details and learn the games at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
The Jacksonville Boat Show is at Prime Osborne January 24th to 26th. For your chance to win tickets, text BOAT to the text line covered by Lifetime Flooring at 641-1010. 641-1010.
What's happening, fellas? It's your boy E to the T here, and it's a brand new year, which means a brand new you, especially in the bedroom. So if you're ready to make 2025 the year to level up where it counts, let me make it a little easier for you. Get yourself some Blue Chew. They've got a chewable tablet that has the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, Levitra, and Staxin. That means you're getting top-tier performance, my boy, without leaving the house. Blue Chew comes right to your front door in a discreet package, so your neighbors won't even know what's going on. But you will. No doctor's offices and no pharmacy run. Just licensed medical providers helping you find the right prescription. And guess what? They're made right here in the USA. Oh, and did I mention it's free? Yeah, you heard me. Your first month is free. So what you waiting for? Visit BlueChew.com and get a consultation. And start your year off with confidence to keep things interesting in that bedroom. Get that Blue Chew at BlueChew.com, baby. Let's make this year unforgettable.
Your home is your sanctuary where memories are made. Jack's homeowners trust Superior Fence and Rail to make their home feel safe, secure, and complete. Imagine a classic wood fence for privacy, sturdy aluminum to protect your pets, or a modern vinyl design that boosts curb appeal. Every fence is built with precision and pride, standing strong in every season.
When you're on the fence, about the fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Need protection? Call Craig and Christine Kaprosky at Goosehead Insurance. The Kaproskys are a husband-wife team committed to finding you the right coverage at the right price in just a few short minutes. For home, auto, flood, or specialty insurance, Craig and Christine Kaprosky are the answer. Craig.Kaprosky at Goosehead.com.
The Golf Club of Southampton has plenty going on, from a great round to a round with your buds, soaking up some football and great grub. Every Saturday and Sunday at Southampton, enjoy their game day special. Wings tossed in your favorite sauce and a cold pitcher of beer. Membership opportunities to take advantage of, too. Join Southampton with a paid initiation, and you'll get a $500 gift card. Perfect for golf, pro shop purchases, or the clubhouse. Check it out. It's all happening at the Golf Club of Southampton.
Making a difference in our community for 2025? Paul Martinez here, President and CEO of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida. The Boys and Girls Clubs offers a safe environment to youth every day with homework assistance, a hot meal, career readiness, and character and leadership programs. 57% of club alumni say the Boys and Girls Club saved their lives. Help us grow our outreach as we serve the kids in our community throughout our 59 clubs. Go to bgcnf.org to donate and learn more.
D1 Training East Jacksonville invites you to their mega NFL football camp at the Bowl School February 1st from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Ages 7 through 16. Get hands-on coaching from former NFL players at every single station. The coaches lineup put together by Connor and Sam at D1 is proudly sponsored by Tim Tebow. To sign up, call 904-901-6470.
Make a resolution this new year to send all of your friends or family a Kuhn Flowers floral arrangement. RJ Saunders here with 1010XL, and okay, how about sending just one person you love a floral arrangement? Kuhn Flowers can handle it.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. This is XL Primetime, brought to you by Florida Home AC. Now that's cool on 1010XL.
Does anybody see? What are you looking at?
See?
Yeah, snow.
Matt claims, listeners, that
I'm not claiming anything. I'm saying I am repeating what they're saying on the Weather Channel.
Monday through Thursday of next week, we could potentially have snow
early next
here in Duval County.
It all depends on the models, JJ.
Oh, the models.
Now we're back to COVID talk.
Are we in the cone?
No, it's the U.S. model, the GFS model, or the European model.
Behind Italy are we? That's
10 days behind Italy right now. So you're telling me that there is a potential.
Remember that? How far are we behind it? God,
listen, I love my beautiful bride, but TLD looked me dead red in the face and said, we are 10 days behind Italy. Get it together. And the door slammed.
Remember that?
Door slam.
How did we ever let ourselves
through a mask at you?
Oh, my gosh. It was serious, okay? Oh, she may have been the first one that printed the instructions on how to wash your hands.
No, she wasn't.
She was.
I enjoyed Hack telling us about how he wiped down all the bags.
Oh, yeah.
From Publix.
Oh, yeah.
He did not.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Okay, so I'm only seeing a low of Monday night, 33 degrees.
Okay, Matt, so give us the
That's
whole
right at
breakdown.
freezing, bro.
Where's Sweet Lou? Sweet Lou
right
Turner.
Now, the model has snow, honestly, in Folkestone. It's right at the border. But they just said, you never know what the miles they could go. They
Give or
could go
take
further
20
south.
miles or something.
Yeah, you could go further south, or you could even go further north. Not as deep. But they're expecting snow in the deep south, is what they said. That's all I'm saying, man.
I know, but listen, once you get it, you are locked in, man.
No, I'll be in Atlanta. It doesn't bother me.
You're going to be Weather Channel bound. Just take a look at this. Okay, look at this. Look at this, JJ. This was Nash Vegas the other day, and I'm telling you,
a lot of white. Yeah.
There was a lot of snow on the ground up there in Hyla and little Archie and
right.
The
but I have a feeling like our little 2-week winter thing that we talk about. It's extending now.
I thought we already did the Arctic freeze. I thought that's what this week was.
It's coming next week.
This sucks.
Right. I need some intel, though.
It does. It blows.
Separate from the weather, real quick. So I'm driving down US 1, and I know there are plenty of Augie to Duval commuters or Duval back to the Aug, whatever. Anyway, I'm rolling along US 1, and I see a big tow truck, not the one that you hook up with the hook,
right.
The one that's got the bed that you drop down and you pull
flatbed one.
You pull it all up.
Flatbed, right.
Little flatbed. They were about to put a chain on that 2-decker British bus on the right-hand side of US 1. And there were people there that were actually taking photographs. So text us. 641
one of the tourism buses that
No, it's just well, I don't know what it might have been. But anyway, it was next to a pub. It's just sitting there on US 1. I'm sure you've seen it.
Like it's always there.
Yeah, it's been there forever. It's a double-decker bus, and it probably was a
yes. I know what you're talking about.
Type of bus back in the day. Anyway, 641-1010. Hit the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures and educate me on what happened, because I'm just guessing that either the property's been sold or I don't know, or it was starting to collapse or something became a danger. I don't know.
Or you may be getting condos there.
You may not be wrong. You may not be wrong. But anyway, let us know, because I was very curious about that. I was as curious about that as where in the H is Bill Belichick. Okay? Mike Lombardi was on McAfee earlier, and he said, I promise you, he's out recruiting. He's hitting, like he's up in Williamsburg, PA, right? He's just like dropping towns left and right. Yet, Belichick, strangely enough, has not signed his contract. And
he's working with a memorandum of understanding.
Oh, I love the memo of understanding. I've signed several of those.
Me too.
And the other thing is Dallas opens up, and you know that Belly had to have some idea, agent to agent conversation, that this could be going down.
What if he takes that job, man?
Yeah.
Seriously. I mean, after Lombardi comes out and says, stop talking like this, he's not taking any job. He's recruiting in D.C. and Baltimore. What if, 5-6 days from now, Belly just says, I'm going to the NFL.
Oh. All right, listen, we cover the entire First Coast because
we're getting a lot of info on this bus.
Yeah.
I've gotten 3 calls and 1,000 texts.
All right,
giving it away, apparently.
So the King's Pub has been sold, the King's Head Pub.
Okay.
And that's where the bus has been sitting out for a long time, and the new owners did not want it there. And so they basically were like, hey, if you can get rid of it, it's yours.
Did they garbage off my lot, man?
They considered a bit of an eyesore. Oh, my gosh.
That's sad.
And I do love that we are, I'm just going to call it Coast to Coast, the First Coast, AIL.
Was that pub any good, by the way, that British pub?
I've wandered in there, but it's been so long ago. But AIL, and he's not artificial intelligence. He's for real. Amelia Island. He of the Salty Pelican, one of our dudes. And he texted me quickly. Current owners wanted to get rid of it. It was free to anyone who could take it.
Wow.
I did not realize that.
You might have taken a run at it.
You would have been posted up.
Could you imagine if I rolled?
You've been right out front of 1010 today.
If I rolled into the neighborhood and let the lovely Diane see me pulling that thing on a flatbed truck to park right there in the front.
You are quite a hoarder.
Yeah, I am. I've been accused of being a hoarder.
You could not put that in the sports room, though. It would not fit.
I can't get it in the sports lounge. So someone's got to take credit for taking it, right?
I guess
that's the next branch of the story.
Right. Where's it going? That's
Exactly.
the final branch of the story.
Yeah, I would like to know.
And I'm guessing it won't be a pub anymore, like a British pub.
That is a little bit of a bummer.
That is sad.
A little bit.
And that old bus has been around. Remember the van, the Napoleon Dynamite van that
Uncle Rico
that Gardner Minshew got and went and started driving around, checking out the sights and scenes everywhere. That's kind of as nostalgic as this bad boy is when I saw it, because I just would always see it. It's not like I looked for it, but I would just always see it. I will miss it. That will be a little bit of a bummer. That's for sure.
Yeah, who hasn't seen it driving down this one?
I know. All right, so back to Bill Belichick. What is going to happen? Okay, is he honestly?
Did he get the bus?
Is he? He's going to recruit out of that bus. Is he taking this seriously?
Liberty City with that bus, man.
Yeah.
He hasn't signed the contract.
No.
What is that?
So the memo of understanding.
Yeah, he's working under a memo of understanding, which is basically paying him. And it's an agreement that he will work for them, that they will pay him until the two sides iron out the contract. Okay, which is it's not uncommon. It happens all the time.
Right. But I feel like at some point, sooner than later.
I feel like if he gets a really good offer from the NFL, and it's a team that he thinks he can win with immediately, and that more importantly, he can win enough games to surpass Don Shula as the greatest coach in NFL history, I can't imagine him not taking that job. He may not. He may be he may be there with North Carolina for 3 or 4 years, and then he's done.
But Jerry Jones
wouldn't shock me either.
Jerry Jones may lob a call.
Yeah. But
after Deion says no, he may go to Belly.
What is he? 13 games from Shula? How many games is JJ?
He is 331. So I think he's around 17 games.
Oh, I didn't know it was high teens. I thought it was low teens.
Might be 14 games.
So he's 2 seasons away.
Yeah, he'd need 2 seasons.
Because he's not running off. He's not running off a 14-3 or a 15-2.
I don't think
Belichick has 333. Shula's got 347.
So there you go. 14.
He's 14 off. Yeah,
Okay.
he's not running off 14. Better yet, a 15-2, which would surpass him. He's going to need 2 years.
And he, as it has been well chronicled, is that he may not have been the nicest guy to a lot of other teams when he was the coach.
But to be fair, I mean, the Cowboys were ripping off 12 under McCarthy, so
he wasn't
gets
that
there.
far
It'll take him 2 years, and then he's done.
Yeah, but he'd have to go. Yeah, but it seems less likely, especially with what's going on after those 3 12-5 seasons in Dallas.
Yeah, but Dak got hurt. I mean, they could have easily won.
They actually played their ass off late in the year.
Yeah.
I was shocked by that.
Yeah, they played better than I think people expected. But last year, Dak cleaned up a lot of his mistakes, not nearly as many picks. CeeDee Lamb went off last year. This year, they just did not have a running game that they could count on at all.
And the defense underperformed. Dak's got a couple good. Dak's at least has 15 wins in him over 2 years left. Does he not?
You would think so,
right?
So, yeah, he would. I mean, I just
the call comes in and Belly's really serious about being the greatest coach in NFL history, which I mean he is anyway. But I mean the winningest,
the best film studier.
Take that, man.
Yeah,
he is the best film studier.
He is a savant when it comes to film study. It's unbelievable. But it's how
That's
people.
What you were saying, I just said it for you.
Yeah, it's how people remembered him at the end with an L on his forehead because Tommy was gone and Tommy was the last to hoist a Lombardi, which I know it has to drive him a little crazy, and he wants to come back. But he had no takers, and at least one reporter said that when he took the North Carolina job, he was giving the finger to the National Football League. Well, maybe they're giving it back to him right now if any of these jobs come open and they're not trying to attract him.
Jerry's just the kind of guy that would do that.
He might.
He's just the kind of guy to call him and say, "Hey, I'll give you $10 million.
Yeah.
$30 million over 3 years. Come try and win a Super Bowl.
Let's do this thing together."
Because Jerry has said over and over that he's getting old. He's getting ready. He doesn't have much time left, and he wants to win the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. And he has done enough to mess it up. Now he might be able to finally do something right to get it. I don't know whether Dion is really in love with the idea, but if his son had a path there, he definitely would.
Yeah,
be
but there is no path. There's no path there. What are they going to do? They're going to mortgage their future to get Shador, who may or may not be an elite quarterback?
Right. Well, they still owe Dak a ton of money, and trying to move him is not easy. That's for sure.
Ed Werder, by the way, said Dion is. I don't know what his wording was, but basically that he's all in. He would be enamored. Mm-hmm. He's enamored with the idea. Dion is.
It's interesting.
With or without Shador?
I think it would have to be without. I mean, how would that even make sense at all?
Right. He's just enamored with the idea of coming back to D-Town, which I as soon as that came out, I thought, well, gosh, he's got to be really into the idea of maybe making that happen.
All right, so here's the whole tweet from Werder, who's as plugged in with the Cowboys as you can get. He says, regarding Deion Sanders, I'm being told that he would almost certainly accept if Jerry Jones offers to make him the next Cowboys head coach, that those around him are encouraging him to pursue it, and that Jones is enamored with the idea. Okay, Jones is enamored with it, but that Deion would definitely, almost certainly, he says, accept it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Boy, that would be something. It's already a circus in D-Town. Jerry wouldn't necessarily be the band leader but he would share the stage with Deion. By the way, I love our engineer extraordinaire, a.k.a. Dickie Allen from back in the day. He wants to try and take that British double-decker bus and turn it into our remote studio.
Oh, that'd be sick.
That is a brilliant idea. Brilliant. It's XL Primetime.
1010XL is your home for Jacksonville University basketball.
Surfing the wave of a 3-game win streak, the Dolphins reel in the Lions at historic Swisher Gym, JU, North Alabama. Tonight at 7 on 1010 AM.
Mia here. Why Arlington Toyota? How about a huge selection of new vehicles in stock, on the ground, in one location? And every new Toyota purchase comes with Arlington's lifetime warranty, unlimited time, and miles. 60-day exchange program. Yes, you heard that right. 60 days to love your new purchase or exchange it for one that you do. Plus, Arlington's credit helper to help you get financed. There's even complimentary car washes with every service, and so much more. Shop arlingtontoyota.com today.
Barley and Pie Brewing Company in Fleming Island is excited to announce an all-new happy hour, 7 days a week. You heard right. every day from 3 until 6 p.m. and again from 9 until close. Barley and Pie has deals you can't resist. 2-for-1 clay lights, 2-for-1 house wines, and much more. Experience the all-new happy hour at Barley and Pie Brewing Company in Fleming Island.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it, they do it. Whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Want to grow your hair back?
IHRS right here in Jacksonville is the only hair transplant clinic in the country that offers multi-unit hair grafting, FUE NeoGraft hair transplants, and the 45-minute effective PRP treatments.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
Thank you, IHRS. IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Schedule a free evaluation and find out how to grow your hair back and keep the hair you have. Call 904-777-IHRS. Take the first step to restoring your hair today. Visit hairforme.com.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
IHRS has been restoring hair for men and women for over 30 years.
Call now for a free in-person or virtual evaluation. 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Or visit hair4me.com.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On January 16, 1960, Detroit Red Wing Gordie Howe scores a goal and an assist in his 888 career game, becoming the NHL's all-time leading scorer with 947 points.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
This is Dr. George Bari inviting you to look online at BariOrthopedics.com for the latest in medical advancements when it comes to getting you back to full joint health. After studying under Dr. James Andrews, I know proper diagnosis is the first key to treatment, and educating the patient is the fastest path to recovery. Whether it's chronic back pain, nagging arthritis, or necessary joint replacement, we're here to serve you in the best possible way. We are Bari Orthopedics and online at BariOrthopedics.com.
Find out more at BariOrthopedics.com. That's BAHRI Orthopedics.com. We don't have too many cold nights on the First Coast, but when the temperature drops, you want to hit the heat button and warm up. That's where Florida Home comes in. They're the AC experts in Jacksonville, and the importance of keeping your heating system in good working order is really important. If it stops working when it gets cooler, Florida Home will leap into action and provide you with the best solution. Heater and heat pump repair service and new system installation. They do it all. Just call Florida Home AC at 777-4300, the official heating and AC partner of the Jaguars.
Mia here for Dream Finders Homes. For a limited time to ring in the new year, Dream Finders Homes is offering an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now is your chance to lock down the rate and get in the game. You heard me right, a 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershome.com for more details.
When you roll into a convenience store for some cold Bud Light, you want to make sure it's, well, cold. Check out the big coolers at Circle K. They make sure it's chilled and ready to go for the big game or party. Swing by Circle K and pick up some cold Bud Light.
Jacksonville. When AEW returns home, it is the biggest party in all of professional wrestling.
Daly's Place, the home of AEW.
And on Saturday, January 25th, Collision returns live. It's a new year and a whole new era in AEW. And there's no better time to experience the excitement than right now. AEW Collision Homecoming, live from Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida. Tickets on sale now, starting at $20 at AEWTIX.com.
Hey gang, Prosser here, and I've been telling you for years about Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Lifetime Enclosures right now running an awesome special for January. Get a complete enclosure done, get free flooring. Now that can save you some money. If you just need flooring, Lifetime Flooring, also running a buy one room, get the second room free. Once again, only for January. Now offering flooring coating as well. So give them a call. I know I did. Visit their showrooms just off Phillips Highway. Proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
All right, my takeaway is we wanted to talk about college football, the national championship game, which is Monday. The Buckeyes and the Fighting Irish, but we just can't seem to get past this. I don't even know what to call it at this point. It's like this huge black cloud covering over us right now. And it's only going to lift when you at least have an idea of what you've got. And if it's a positive thing, what you've got. If it's just someone who's going to do whatever the GM wants, someone who's going to fill the role, check the box, you know what I mean? That's going to be a problem. Yeah, that's going to be a big problem.
It would be really scary if it ends up going in that direction. And we'll talk a little bit more about Aaron Glenn tomorrow because he's a guy who there's definitely a personality that I like from Aaron Glenn. And even though Ben Johnson's offense was much more prolific than Aaron Glenn's defense was dominant, I still like the idea of that guy coming in and creating a personality for this team. Now, as people who cover Detroit say,
a tough personality.
But as people in Detroit say, Ben Johnson is a demander of excellence. Do it right, do it over, that type of stuff. And the wrinkles, the eye for innovation, he has a lot of that. So both of those guys.
I just want to be very clear. I don't need somebody walking in here saying, they've been through a lot.
Mm-hmm. Healing.
They need to heal a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
They need to heal. Imagine that, saying grown men that are getting paid millions spent 11 games with a guy and need to heal.
Well, they did the healing in the beginning of 2020. They were successful that year. Let's not rip them for that one. That one worked.
No, I know that, but imagine saying that because there's no way that statement carries over 2, 3, 4, 5 years, right? There's no way it does.
Yeah,
I don't think it had anything to do with feelings. I think he came in here with he was actually they were actually operationally successful in that year, whereas from day one under Herb, my God, the first series of the game. They couldn't get a play in without a delay game or a false start. Remember that Texans game? Remember how bad that game was?
It did not go well.
Again, also should have been a gigantic red flag. That game should have been, my God, what do we get ourselves into here? All right? And again, I'm very secure in saying that I was the guy who said I thought he'd do great here, and he did not. But you can't come in and say these guys have feelings and they need to heal and think that's going to carry over 3, 4, 5, 6 years, and you're going to go on, this great playoff run. No, that doesn't work, man. That might work temporarily. That might be a little salve, but that ain't working.
Yeah, it is worth pointing out that we had that the way Doug approached getting this team back, as you said, healing and feelings. We would play the feeling song all the time when we would talk about it. It's worth pointing out that Nick Foles was also the same kind of guy. He was strong faith-based and said, we will keep searching for answers. We will, and yet did not drive the locker room or create a pulse and a culture in that locker room as the quarterback.
You can be strong.
Everything was just so let's.
But you can be strong faith-based and still be a badass.
Oh, of course.
You absolutely can.
Yeah, Mark Burdell, when he was here, strong faith-based. But all I'm simply saying is that both of those guys were mellow, I guess is what I was trying to say more than anything else. Just, hey, we're going to keep working hard. We're going to keep looking for the answers. And it is kind of funny that they aligned and that they did win together a Super Bowl. Both of them came here afterwards.
Right. And I also think, I also think the 2022 success was honestly because it was an organization. They started operationally doing right things, and they had enough talent, and they got on a roll. They got hot. They got hot. They had a hot quarterback. At one point, what was Trevor in that season? 12 touchdowns, 1 interception over the last
stretch,
over the last, what was it, 7 games? I mean, they lost their starting left tackle and it didn't affect them.
Mm-hmm.
Walker Little goes in there and plays great the last 5 games of the season.
Yeah.
So they got hot, and it was completely a 180-degree different operationally from what they were prior. But again, you can't go the next year and think, feelings again, and we don't need to change anything. We'll just add Calvin Ridley and everything will be great. And
we like our room.
Yeah, not how it works, man.
All right.
And then the following year said we like our offensive line.
Yeah. All right, so this one kind of got me. This is my takeaway, is that when you're trying to figure out who should be the next coach, you never know who you got in your building and whether or not they can ultimately turn out. And we have had bad luck, a little dismal Duval feeling here, but just know that it is happening in other places. This was off of X, and the writer, Zach Rosenblatt, was looking at Jeff Hafley a little bit because Hafley left Boston College head coaching job to come into the National Football League, and he was up there with the Packers this season. Well, anyway, he was looking up Jeff Hafley. He said he saw that he coached with the Browns in 2014 and 15, and then went to look at the coaching staff. In 2014 and 15, the Browns coaching staff had Kyle Shanahan, Mike McDaniel, Anthony Weaver, Aaron Glenn, and Kevin O'Connell.
In 14?
Between those 2 years, 14 and 15.
What was their record, 14?
I have no idea. But that is something. In other words, there was some talent on that staff. The head coach was Mike Pettin. Mike Pettin was the high school phenom.
No way.
I swear to God, he was the head coach. He did not last long.
All right, 2014, they were 7-9. And you said 2015?
Yeah, Kevin O'Connell was the quarterback's coach in 2015.
3-13.
3-13. Yeah, it's something else. So you honestly, Mike McDaniel, Anthony Weaver, Kyle Shanahan, Aaron Glenn, and Kevin O'Connell.
That's a pretty good staff,
Holy smokes. All right, speaking of pretty good, let's go bold.
That's not Rick Nielsen, by the way.
Yeah. No.
Or Press
Here's
Taylor
a bold fact. Brought to you by Bold City Brewery, Duval's first craft brewery. Online at boldcitybrewery.com.
Looking at Matt Hayes. Will you let my liner run there, big man?
Who's the old coach again? Rauscher.
For the brewery. Jeez.
Rauscher.
Just stay in your head until the liner's done. He's all over the place.
I get so annoyed with this stuff, man.
All right.
Rauscher. And
I'm just going to make a very important point right now. Bold City Brewery, diehard Jaguar fans, okay?
Yes.
I talked to Chillwell the other day. He's like, man.
Love that place, by the way.
He goes, I just want to see this team win again. And so they are all diehard Jaguar fans down there. Bold City Brewery, you can look for them in Riverside on Roselle Street, their production house, and they've got a great little Thursday action going on. The Smash Burgers bingo, and just some delicious food that you will enjoy along with a great pint. BOGO, first one is on the house, so make sure you check that out. All right, so Saquon Barkley, 2,000-yard rusher this year. Philadelphia has already played L.A. once this year, and they won pretty convincingly, 37-20. Saquon had a career-high 302 scrimmage yards.
Yep.
Just think about that. Yeah. Franchise record, 255 rushing yards. Sixth player in NFL history to record multiple rushing touchdowns of 70 or more yards in a game. Who else can you name that would be on that list? 6 players have had multiple rushing touchdowns of 70 or more yards in a game.
Adrian Peterson?
Nope. I'll give one away because he's an old schooler. Pro Football Hall of Famer.
Tony Dorsett?
Nope. Pro Football Hall of Famer Lenny Moore. Back in 1956. I don't think you're going to have that one.
6 of 70 or more.
Yeah. I'm going to give you another one because I don't think you'll get him. John Fuqua.
I would have gotten Fuqua.
Oh, yeah, whatever. 1970. All right, so now you are down to the other 3 names that I'm looking for.
Walter Payton.
Nope, very good guess.
Larry Johnson?
I will tell JJ to stay in that arena.
Larry Johnson?
Nope.
Priest Holmes?
Nope.
Stay in that arena, the Walter Payton arena, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And Tony Dorsett's not it, huh? Wow. No, it's not him. Maybe Tim Smith that 1 year with
but just hear what I'm saying. If you stay in the Walter Payton area, you're staying at the top of the heap in rushing grades.
Oh, I thought you meant the actual. When you say era, I'm thinking years.
No, and I may have said that wrong, but Walter, I think I said
Emmett
Walter Payton.
70-yard touchdown.
Mode, whatever. Walter
Eric
Payton
Dickerson.
mindset, whatever
Dickerson.
I said.
Eric Dickerson.
No, Barry Sanders.
Barry Sanders.
Because he's right there with Walt and
All right.
Emmett. So that's the only reason I was trying to guide you there. Barry Sanders did it in 1997. The last two have Jaguar ties.
Wow.
Leonard Fournette.
Jaguars.
Mojo.
MJD.
Really?
Maurice Jones-Drew in 2009, and he busted off a couple of big runs, multiple rushing touchdowns of 70 or more. Maurice Jones-Drew is in select company along with Barry Sanders, Moore, Fuqua, and Saquon. The last guy,
John Fuqua.
Yeah. And the last one I said who has a Jaguar tie, and I think most or all of Duval will agree with me that this guy deserves to be in the Jaguars' pride.
Derrick Henry.
Nope.
Oh, in the Jaguars.
He deserves to be in the Jaguars' pride. Frank Gore.
Oh, wow.
Now,
I wouldn't expect that from him.
Yep. Frank Gore needs to get back to the Jaguars' pride level because he's the one who brought us Trevor Lawrence. So come on, Trev. Live up to your end of the bargain and whoever's head coaching you. But Frank Gore, yeah, you're right, JJ. I would not have.
He was like a consistent guy, but not necessarily like a game breaker guy.
Right. Yep. And by the way, you know John Fuqua. It was Frenchie Fuqua.
It was Frenchie Fuqua. Yeah, but I just like saying Fuqua. Yeah. Because that was that play, the immaculate reception and all that kind of stuff going way back. So, Frenchie. But there you go. So I just thought that it was worth pointing out that Maurice Jones-Drew, there was a time when this team did have a dynamic running game from 2006 until about 2013, 2012. When did MJD win the rushing title? I think it might have been in 11. But between him and Freddie T, the first handful of years before Fred left and Maurice Jones-Drew, they just kind of wore him down. He was the only offense in that 1 year. He was the leading rusher in the National Football League, but every time he lined up, any defense he faced knew he was the one and only weapon that this football team had.
Freddie could have been a good answer, actually.
Yeah. It would have. Yeah, he busted off some big runs, but
he did.
But unfortunately, never two or more 70 yards or more in a game. Yeah. He definitely did one against the Miami Dolphins as we celebrated that 25th anniversary yesterday.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. Find the coolest cats in town at coolcatsjacks.com.
On the campus of Jacksonville University, that's where the Francis Show is broadcasting from today. The embedded and shredded Hayes Carline joins us now. Hayes, how about Maurice Jones-Drew, one of 6 ever in the NFL to rip off 2 touchdowns of 70 yards or more? That's pretty impressive. Rushing touchdowns.
What an incredible player. And, hopefully one day he'll be in the pride. I think he will be, and that'll be a great celebration, but just a fantastic Jaguar.
All right, listen, Mr. Jaguar, we went through a lot of, not necessarily a lot of candidates, but a lot of discussion today about what we need, what fans want to see. And then we played that piece from Jeff Darlington that he still believes that there's a lot of positive thoughts from Ben Johnson about this job. Do you agree?
I do agree. I had a conversation last night with somebody that's pretty close to this, and I feel a lot better about this getting across the goal line with Ben Johnson after that conversation. So I remain hopeful, a little bit leery until it gets done, but I'm more encouraged now than I was this time yesterday about Ben Johnson becoming the coach here, which obviously would be a massive coup for the Jaguars if it's able to happen. So, yeah, I'm feeling optimistic, fellas. So we'll see if it bears out.
Carline, if that happens, to your point, if it does happen, it's Trevor. I mean that's the pull, right?
I definitely think that. I think it's everything that people have talked about.
And what about Ball?
I think he prefers the Jacksonville, the smaller town feel for an NFL market. I think certainly Trevor Lawrence factors in. And look, I think I think his interest in Vegas has maybe been a little bit overblown. So so anyway, yeah, I mean, obviously there's a lot to like about this job, and I do think that he has been told that he will have final say on, regardless of how the structure looks, that Ben Johnson would have final say on all decisions. So again, we'll see. We'll see where it ends up. But I'm feeling pretty good about what I'm hearing right now.
Johnson in Jacksonville, bring on Ray Agnew, and we'll all be happy. All right, Hayes, listen, we got to say goodbye to you. You guys got plenty coming up, right?
We do. Jordan Mincy at 4:20. Alex Rickard Gilbert will join us at 5. Again, JU's won 3 straight. This is a big game tonight against North Alabama. Both teams 3-1 in the league. So if you're looking to watch a game tonight, come out to Swisher and see the JU Dolphins.
As we say goodbye to you, I know you will share in this. Next couple of days, we were saying goodbye to one of the greatest, which I'm sure you might have in your headlines later. But R.I.P. Bob Uecker. Hayes, I think you would agree with that, sir.
Rest in peace. What an icon.
What a life that man lived. Thank you very much, friends. Show coming up next. Joe C., Matty Hayes, JJ. We do say goodbye. Rest in peace, Big Bob.
So the Tribe drops its 3rd straight on this trip, 6-1 to the Rangers. For the Indians, 1 run on, 1 hit. That's all. We got 1 damn hit.
You can't say damn on the air.
Don't worry, nobody's listening anyway. Post-game show is brought to you by Christ, I can't find it. To hell with it.